The NFL MVP is awarded to the best person that performs the best in the entire NFL during that season. Last season in 2019, Lamar Jackson won the NFL MVP, having one of the best seasons in QB history running wise. The season before that, we saw Patrick Mahomes win the quarterback MVP, league MVP. This dude was balling out for the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, Tom Brady has won the MVP so many times. The year before that, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers. But there's one player that I think is better than a lot of these quarterbacks, and he has never won NFL MVP. And this is the only season he has to achieve this award, and I think he will. My dark horse MVP candidate is Ben Roethlisberger. So Ben Roethlisberger, like I said, he's been in the league for a long time, and he's never won an MVP. He's always been competing Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and since 2010, he hasn't really had a really good Super Bowl run. Besides, I guess you can say 2017, where they were in the AFC Championship, but they lost. So Ben Roethlisberger recently has been performing really good. 2 seasons ago, they went 13-3. The season before that, season after that, they went 9-6-1, missed the playoffs there. And the season after that, without Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers went 8-8. And that's the key. Without Ben Roethlisberger, this team went 8-8 because of their defense, which gives Ben Roethlisberger the perfect opportunity to return to the Super Bowl this season. Now, when I look at the MVP award, it's usually given to a quarterback. It's been a quarterback recently for, I guess you can say the last 20 years. Adrian Peterson was the last non-QB to win in 2012, a running back from Minnesota Vikings, and ever since it's been all quarterback. So it's no surprise that I think another quarterback should win the NFL MVP this season. But what is the one common thing that all the NFL MVPs have? So one thing about the award itself is that it is awarded relatively the night before the Super Bowl. And the thing about the award is that I'd say 100% of the time it's awarded based off of the regular season performance of a player. And it really does not take in consideration of the playoff performance. And this is a very good, I guess you could say a really good example of that is in 2019. Lamar Jackson was awarded the MVP, even though he lost to the Titans in the divisional round. And it was very obvious that Patrick Mahomes was the better QB in the playoffs, obviously winning the Super Bowl MVP. So debatably, I think Mahomes should have won the NFL MVP last season. But like I said, they don't really take in consideration of the playoffs. So one thing that all MVP winners have in common is a record. So starting in 2015, I believe Cam Newton's Carolina Panthers went 15-1 in the regular season. And right there, that's all that matters. 15-1, immediate MVP. It doesn't even matter what happens in the playoffs. Obviously, Cam Newton led his team to the Super Bowl, and the MVP was given the night before the Super Bowl. So I guess you can say, well-deserved there. But I would like to say that Matt Ryan in 2016 may have taken his playoff performances in consideration because Matt Ryan's Falcons actually achieved the 2nd seed and were in the Super Bowl when the Packers eliminated the Cowboys, the 1st seed. And yes, Matt Ryan did lead this team to the Super Bowl and he won the MVP award. Obviously, he did have a really good regular season, and the Cowboys somehow went 13-3. I don't know how that happened because, they suck, but it's whatever. So I think Matt Ryan deserved that award that season. But the following season, this is where it gets a little fishy. In 2017, Tom Brady won the NFL MVP. But it was very obvious the Pittsburgh Steelers were the better team. They had the same record as the Patriots, and they got scammed by the refs in that game, that home game against the Patriots. That Jesse James call was the dumbest play in NFL history, in my opinion. The Steelers should have went 14-2. Ben Roethlisberger debatably should have won MVP. But the real MVP of the 2017 NFL season actually was Carson Wentz. But he got injured later in the season, and that didn't matter. So they just gave the award to Tom Brady because Jesse James' call was reversed, and that's the only reason why Tom Brady won the NFL MVP. No doubt about it, the following season, Patrick Mahomes in 2018, he won the MVP. Oh my gosh, Mahomes was popping off this year. One of the best records in the league and was definitely the best player in the league. Won MVP easily. And Lamar Jackson, like I said, he went 14-2. But the thing about this is that Lamar Jackson lost to the Titans in the playoffs. And Mahomes was definitely the better QB during the playoffs because he won the Super Bowl. So like I said, they don't take in consideration of the playoffs. They take in consideration of the regular season. And this is why Ben Roethlisberger is going to win the NFL MVP in 2020. So, like I said, the most common thing about winning an NFL MVP award is the record that the quarterback carries the team to. And every record since 2015 that I've listed are really, really good. And obviously, I believe the Steelers are going to have one of the best records in the NFL. And I think they should get the first seed in the AFC. And that's all really the Steelers need to get that MVP award. Because I don't really think there's, another candidate in the NFC to outcompete any QB in the AFC. Obviously, we have Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes in the AFC. And if Ben Roethlisberger gets a better record than them, then he definitely should get the award over those two quarterbacks. But in the NFC, I don't really see any MVP candidates. Maybe Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, or Tom Brady. But honestly, I don't really see it. And I think the AFC, once again, should win the Super Bowl. But wait a minute. Wait. I said the Steelers are going to have the best record in the AFC. And here's why. So I definitely have to back up my claims here because I can't just randomly say that. So let's look at this team. So I'll put a thing at the top right, an iCard. I've made a video about the Pittsburgh Steelers being legit. You can watch that. It's in fuller detail. But come on now. This team went 8-8 with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges. They were 8-5 at the end of the season, and they lost to the Bills, basically destroying their playoff hopes, and all the players just gave up at that point. I believe Cam Hayward actually said that their team lost motivation after they lost to the Bills and the Jets against that Ravens game. So I believe if they won that Bills game, they definitely could have had, an 11-5 record, 10-6 record. But like I said, 8-8 with two horrible QBs. Now, why did this team go 8-8? Because of their defense. Because they have the best defense in the NFL. So the NFL MVP is always given to a QB, but I believe the Defensive Player of the Year should be on this team, and his name is TJ Watt. Come on now, if you disagree, there's something wrong with you. TJ Watt was the runner-up last season, probably could have won it, and I don't see why Stephon Gilmore won it, but at the same time, TJ Watt, you already know, this dude's going to pop off. Unless he gets injured, this dude's winning Defensive Player of the Year, no doubt about it. Obviously, they do have other superstar talent, like Minka Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden, Devin Bush, debatably. I think he could have a really good season. Cam Hayward is a really good player for this team captain. Don't underestimate Stephon Tuitt and Steven Nelson, because these two players are going to be really good for the Steelers. And definitely one player that I think could get better is Terrell Edmunds. And I don't know, this dude's going to have to take a lot of work to get better. And if he performs really good, this defense, number one easily, probably already is. Not to forget, another player on this team, Bud Dupree, linebacker just like TJ Watt. He had a really good season last year with sacks, just like TJ Watt. And he's definitely underestimated because, TJ gets all the fame, obviously. So Bud Dupree, he's been signed to a franchise tag once again, and he's going to have a really good season. Don't underestimate the Steelers' defense. Number one easily. Come on now. So alone, like I said, Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph led this team to an 8-8 record, and at times this offense was atrocious. It was one of the worst offenses I've seen in my life. But you already know, Ben Roethlisberger's back. He's healthy. He can throw now. This team's going to be so good. Come on, it's so obvious. But where's the proof? So let's talk about the wide receivers real quick. Juju-Smith He had that really good season 2 seasons ago, over 1,000 yards, made the Pro Bowl, and that was obviously with AB on the team. But Juju's going to fill in that spot as starting wide receiver. And I do believe that Deontay Johnson is going to become a superstar, a Pro Bowler next season. One stat that really did surprise me is that Deontay Johnson led the league in separation from defender. And come on now, if you lead the league, Ben Roethlisberger's your QB, an accurate quarterback, compared to Doug Hodges, you already know this dude's going to have a Pro Bowl season. I'd say that he's more talented skill-wise than Juju, but Juju makes those plays. He's a bigger dude. He's stronger. He's, I don't know, maybe not faster. Deontay Johnson is definitely a kick return specialist, so we'll see that out of him also. So those two wide receivers I definitely think should make a Pro Bowl next season. But who's that third wide receiver? Obviously, it's James Washington or it's Chase Claypool. So they really want Juju-Smith to play in the slot where he belongs to play, where he deserves it because he plays the best there. And Chase Claypool or James Washington, who's going to be the starter? I think Chase Claypool should outperform James Washington. Even though he's a rookie and James Washington's in his third season, Chase Claypool is the taller, the faster, the more athletic wide receiver, and this dude is the next Martavis Bryant. The special thing about Chase Claypool, though, is that his size and compared to his speed is just elite. He ran a 4.45 and a 4.43 in the 40-yard dash times at the combine. This dude is huge. He weighs a lot, and he still ran that speed for a 6'4". Like, come on now, this dude, 238 pounds. He's massive, and you already know, like, with that speed, he's gonna be a threat for other defenders in the league. But hold on, come on now. We can't forget about Eric Ebron and Vance McDonald. Eric Ebron was a Pro Bowl tight end with Andrew Luck as his QB. What do you expect to happen when Ben Roethlisberger's there? Just another target, another skilled player that Ben Roethlisberger can get yards from. And you can't forget about the running backs. James Conner, Jalen Samuels, and I believe Anthony McFarland are going to have a really good running back season. What I believe the Steelers should do is equally distribute runs through these three players. And when it comes playoff time, I'd give the ball to James Conner where he's healthy. He didn't take the whole load like Todd Gurley would. Running back by committee during the regular season, all James Conner during the postseason. Maybe some Anthony McFarland, who I believe is a steal of the draft. He was injured as a senior, and he's only going to be healthy, only going to be a speedster for the Steelers. Easy pickup. Obviously, the Steelers' offensive line has been, I guess you say, pretty good for the longest time. And yeah, so this team overall is so good. But what does that mean for Ben Roethlisberger? It means I expect a 5,000-yard season. I expect an NFL MVP, and I expect the best record in the AFC. Debatably, I expect the best record in the NFL. So, how's Ben Roethlisberger going to win? So, like I said, I believe stats are very important. Every QB's stats that win MVP, they're just really good. But I believe record is probably the more important thing here. If the Steelers end up with the best record in the NFL, no doubt about it, Big Ben is going to win his first NFL MVP. He's going to win his third Super Bowl. He's going to lead Pittsburgh to the stairway to 7. But the problem is, in 2018, Ben Roethlisberger had a 5,000-yard season, and they went 9-6-1. Like, what? And they went 9-6-1 because the coaching staff was not smart. In many games, the Steelers underestimated bad teams like the Raiders. They underestimated the Chargers at home when they had a huge lead. They underestimated the Broncos on the road. Lost all of those games. They lost to the Chiefs at home. Should have won that game. It was the second game of Pat Mahomes' career. Third game, technically. And you see the Steelers losing. I guess you can say part of that was the defense was not as good as it is now. But at the same time, the coaching staff didn't try against bad teams. And they lost those games. So I expect Pittsburgh's defense to go all out, just like Bill Belichick. The mentality has to be there the entire season, or they will lose to bad teams. It happens every year, and if that happens, I believe that MVP award is just going to be taken away just like that. One thing that is very, very favorable for the Pittsburgh Steelers is their schedule. They basically have the easiest schedule in the league, along with Baltimore. They play the AFC South, the Texans at home and the Colts at home, two of the better teams in that division. Titans on the road, probably the hardest game they might have, honestly, because their schedule's so easy. They play the NFC East, the Eagles at home, the Cowboys on the road, the Redskins at home, the Giants on the road. Really easy schedule right there. Maybe the Cowboys game they'll lose. And of course, they play the Bills on the road and the Broncos at home. So their schedule is pretty easy. I guess you can say the most important part is beating Baltimore twice, which I think is favorable, considering that they host Baltimore Thursday Night Football, Thanksgiving night. So even if they lose to Baltimore once and have a 1-1 division record, all they have to do is end up with a better division record or a better record overall, which I think is very possible with a really, really easy schedule. Considering that the Ravens play the Chiefs and the Patriots with Cam Newton now, I believe the Steelers have the easy schedule in the NFL. This team has the talent to get the best record in the league. It's just the execution, the coaching staff. It's there. It's just not fully there because of the underestimation that the Steelers usually have. Do not underestimate good teams, bad teams. Steelers, they're going to have a good record. Ben Roethlisberger is going to win that MVP. Come on now. Easy Super Bowl. Adios.